To the rest of the galaxy, the laws of war are sacred commandments. You must fight in the daylight. You must wear bright colors. You must fight with honor. But when the mighty Draconis Empire surrounded a tiny, defenseless human colony, they made one fatal mistake. They assumed humans read the rulebook. They are about to learn that for humanity, the laws of war are not requirements, they are just polite suggestions. The sky above the colony planet was no longer blue. It was black with metal. Thousands of massive warships from the Draconis Empire blocked out the sun. On the dusty ground below, Commander Jack Miller stood with his small team of defenders. They were not elite soldiers, they were tired miners and farmers holding rusty rifles. They looked up at the fleet with fear, waiting for the lasers to fire. But the attack did not start. Instead, a bright beam of light hit the ground in front of the human trench. A giant hologram appeared. It was High Warlord Vrex. He was a tall alien covered in shiny blue scales and expensive gold armor. He did not look like a soldier, he looked like a king. In his hands, he held a long, glowing scroll. His voice boomed across the valley like thunder, but he did not scream. He spoke calmly. Vrex began to read the Galactic Laws of War. He explained that in civilized space, war was a contest of honor. He listed the rules clearly. Rule number 1, all battles must happen only during daylight hours. Rule number 2, soldiers must wear bright colors so the enemy can see them. Rule number 3, no hiding, no traps, and no sneak attacks. The warlord smiled arrogantly. He told the humans to prepare their brightest uniforms and meet on the open field at dawn. He expected them to play by the rules, just like every other species in the galaxy. Vrex turned off the hologram, confident that the humans would obey. Jack Miller stood in the silence. He looked at the muddy ground and his camouflage gear. He realized the aliens viewed war as a sport. But for humans, war was about survival. Miller shook his head. He signaled his men to put away their flags. They were not going to march in a straight line. As the sun went down, the humans began to dig. The aliens had a rulebook, but the humans were about to rewrite it. The sun rose over the colony of New Hope, marking the official start of the battle. The Draconis army marched out of their massive ships. It was a beautiful sight, but it was also foolish. 10,000 alien soldiers wore bright gold and neon orange armor. According to their laws, they had to be easily seen by the enemy to be honorable. They played loud drums and marched in perfect straight lines, shoulder to shoulder. They stopped in the middle of the big green valley and waited. They expected the humans to line up on the other side with flags and trumpets. They prepared their plasma swords for a respectful duel. But the other side of the valley was completely silent. There were no humans, no flags, and no army. High Warlord Vrex watched from his command ship, looking confused. The Galactic Laws clearly said the enemy must announce their presence before fighting. He thought the humans were cowards who had run away during the night. He laughed and ordered his troops to march forward to capture the empty human base. The alien soldiers stepped onto the grassy field, relaxed and careless. They thought they had already won the war. They did not realize they were walking directly on top of the human army. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet began to explode. The grass was not real grass, it was camouflage covering deep holes. Hundreds of spider holes popped open right in the middle of the alien formation. The humans had not run away. They had spent the whole night digging tunnels. Commander Miller and his men popped up from the dirt like angry ghosts. They were covered in mud, leaves, and gray paint. To the alien eyes, the humans were invisible against the ground. Panic spread quickly through the golden alien ranks. They tried to fight back, but they could not find a target. A human soldier would attack from behind a rock, then drop back into a hole and disappear before the aliens could turn around. The aliens fired their lasers wildly at the trees and the sky, hitting nothing. Vrex screamed into his radio, demanding to know where the enemy was.
They're everywhere.
His soldiers were falling, defeated by an army that refused to stand up. The shiny gold armor made the aliens perfect targets, while the dirty human armor made them part of the planet itself. The alien laws said you must stand tall to show bravery. The human suggestion was that if you want to stay alive, you become the dirt. The sun dipped below the horizon, and the Draconis army immediately stopped shooting. According to Galactic Law Article 4, all combat must cease at sunset to allow soldiers to rest, eat, and repair their shiny armor. The aliens followed this rule strictly. They set up a neat, orderly camp in the center of the valley. They turned off their heavy defense shields and even put their weapons in locked racks. They fully expected the humans to do the same. High Warlord Vrex drank a cup of warm tea and went to sleep, confident that the honorable duel would continue at 8 a.m. sharp the next morning. But down in the muddy human trenches, there was no sleeping. Commander Miller was pouring strong black coffee for his team. Humans did not evolve to rest when danger was nearby, they evolved to hunt until the prey collapsed. At exactly midnight, the peaceful silence of the forest was shattered. It was not destroyed by bombs, but by noise. The humans had secretly attached massive concert speakers to the tall trees surrounding the alien camp. Suddenly, aggressive heavy metal music blasted at maximum volume, shaking the ground and vibrating the alien tents. At the same exact second, high-powered industrial floodlights snapped on, turning the dark night into a blinding white day. The sleeping aliens woke up in absolute terror. Their sensitive eyes were blinded by the harsh lights, and their ears rang from the chaotic drums and screaming guitars. They stumbled out of their tents, unarmored and confused, falling over each other in the panic. Then came the drones. Small human quadcopters buzzed over the alien camp like a swarm of angry mechanical flies. They did not drop lethal explosives, instead, they dropped buckets of sticky construction foam and heavy nets. The exhausted aliens, who just wanted to sleep, were now fighting a nightmare they could not understand. They tried to shoot at the lights, but they were too dizzy to aim. The psychological stress was breaking them. For the Draconis race, war was a structured chess game. For the humans, war was a street fight that never ended. By the time the real sun actually rose, the alien army had not slept for a single second. They were shaking, weak, and mentally broken, while the humans were just finishing their second pot of coffee, ready for another day. High Warlord Vrex had enough of the human tricks. He was tired, humiliated, and angry. He decided to stop playing games and end the war immediately. He ordered his ultimate weapon to the front line, the Titan hover tanks. These machines were massive floating fortresses that hummed with power. Most importantly, they were protected by the famous void shields. These blue energy bubbles surrounded the tanks and could stop any laser, plasma bolt, or heat weapon in the galaxy. Vrex smiled for the first time that day. He knew the primitive humans only had weak mining lasers. Against the void shields, the humans were completely helpless. The tanks moved forward, crushing the trees, ready to burn the human colony to the ground. Commander Miller watched the floating monsters approach. He looked at his team, but they did not panic. They were miners, not scientists. They understood rocks, weight, and speed. They dragged a massive, ugly machine out of the warehouse. It was not a military weapon, it was an industrial magnetic railgun, normally used to shoot heavy crates of or into orbit. It looked rusty and was held together by duct tape. The aliens ignored it because it did not glow like a dangerous plasma cannon. Miller aimed the machine at the lead tank. He did not load an energy battery. Instead, he loaded a solid block of tungsten, a very heavy, very hard metal brick. The humans fired. There was no bright laser beam, just a deafening crack like thunder. The heavy metal block flew across the valley at 7 times the speed of sound. It hit the alien tank's fancy energy shield. The shield was designed to absorb heat and light, but it was not designed to catch a physical punch. The shield shattered instantly like glass. The metal block smashed right through the defense and hit the tank with the force of a falling meteor. The massive alien war machine flipped over backward and crashed into the dirt, smoking and ruined. The other alien drivers stopped in terror. They realized their advanced technology had a fatal weakness. It could stop the hottest fire, but it could not stop a really fast rock. The Draconis army was broken and terrified. They retreated into a deep, narrow canyon where their tanks could be safe from the heavy human railguns. High Warlord Vrex knew he was losing, but he still had one hope. The Galactic Laws strictly forbade the use of deadly poisons or biological plagues. He was sure the humans would not cross that line. However, just to be safe, he ordered his soldiers to keep their helmet sensors active. From his command post, Vrex watched the humans set up large machines on the cliff above the canyon. They looked like giant fans used for farming. Suddenly, the fans turned on, blowing a thick, reddish-orange dust down into the valley. The alien computers analyzed the mysterious red cloud. The screen flashed a confusing message, warning, organic substance. Classification, food ingredient. Vrex was puzzled. Why were the humans attacking them with food? The sensors said it was non-toxic, so the aliens did not seal their suits. This was a terrible mistake. The red dust was concentrated capsaicin, the chemical found in Earth's hottest chili peppers. Humans ate this for fun, but the Draconis aliens had evolved on a wet, cold world. Their skin and eyes were incredibly sensitive. As the spicy dust settled over the army, it entered their ventilation systems and touched their skin. The reaction was instant chaos. The food seasoning felt like liquid fire to the aliens. Thousands of soldiers dropped their weapons and fell to the ground, screaming. They clawed at their helmets, their eyes burning and watering uncontrollably. They coughed and gagged as the spicy air filled their lungs. It was not lethal, nobody was dying, but the pain was unbearable. To the aliens, this was a torture worse than death. Up on the cliff, Commander Miller watched the panic while calmly eating a spicy sandwich. He shook his head. To a human, it was just lunch. To the galaxy's most powerful army, it was a biological weapon of mass destruction. The war was finally over. High Warlord Vrex sat in a simple metal chair inside the human command bunker. He looked small and completely defeated. His golden armor was dented, his spirit was broken, and his eyes were still red and swollen from the spicy chili dust. When Commander Miller walked into the room, Vrex did not ask for mercy. Instead, he shouted in anger. He slammed his fist on the table and accused the humans of being dishonorable savages. He screamed that they had broken every sacred law of the galaxy. They fought at night, they hid in the dirt, and they used chemical torture. He called Miller a war criminal and a monster. Commander Miller did not yell back. He calmly poured a glass of water and handed it to the shaking alien. He sat down and looked Vrex in the eye. Miller explained that the warlord had misunderstood everything. The humans had not broken the rules to be cruel, they had broken the rules to be kind. Vrex was confused. Miller then turned on a screen on the wall. He showed the alien images from Earth's true history of war. The screen showed nuclear mushroom clouds, cities turned to ash, and weapons that could split the very atoms of the universe. Vrex watched in horror as he saw what humans were actually capable of when they stopped holding back. Miller leaned forward and delivered the terrifying truth. He explained that the loud music, the rocks, and the pepper spray were just suggestions. They were childish tricks used to spare the aliens' lives. If the humans had fought with their full military power, the Draconis fleet would have been vaporized in 10 minutes. The humans had chosen to be annoying instead of deadly. Vrex turned pale. He realized that the humans were not weak primitives, they were predators who had decided to show mercy. Terrified by the thought of fighting an unleashed humanity, Vrex grabbed the peace treaty. He signed it immediately. As his broken fleet limped away from Earth, he sent a final warning to the rest of the galaxy: do not test the humans, because their suggestions are the only thing keeping you alive.